Hello and welcome back to the Talking Wednesday podcast. Yes, we are in person again. We skipped the in-person episode this time. At least he's not trying to touch me this year. We are back in person, filming a couple of episodes today. You may have already seen, or you are yet to see, the Talking Wednesday draft final update. The Talking Wednesday Awards. It's been a lot of fun there. There was another chair here.
I set up a really... Some people might think, because I did a live stream showing me setting it up and getting it all sorted. And then at 7 this morning, I had to cancel it all. And at one point, my brain went, I don't want to do the Talking Wednesday podcast today. So you all. You have a nice drive.
I nearly did the same if you hadn't set it up.
Yeah.
You know, like, I was at my mum and dad's last night because it was my birthday earlier in the week. I didn't see them on my birthday. Thank you very much. I will say on camera, I've not put it on. I should have probably put it on for this episode, but then we'd be in the same shirt. That would be weird. I always said I like this kit. I never bought this kit. Jake bought me this kit for my 30th from the Wednesday store, so I very much appreciate that.
Thank you for chance to listening to someone to make a sale.
Yes, I also said I wasn't putting money into the club, so the fact you bought me a shirt, one of my mates has bought me one of the Bernard sign cutouts.
What about that much in and then whatever?
Yeah, no, that's the last purchase I made. That one.
That one.
Yeah, and I got it a size too small, so I look like a pack of sausages in it. Yeah. So Jack is meant to be here.
Yeah.
He's not here.
No.
Jake is quite annoyed.
Jake is fuming. Jake is the absolute fume. I did the school one this morning, and my little girl's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "No, I'm not very happy with Jack." Like, what has he done? He meant to be here today, and it's like, he's not turned up. No, he hasn't. It's like, when you say you're gonna do something, you do it. I'm like, yeah, you do, darling.
Did she actually say that?
Yeah.
There you go, Jack. You're having a child.
You're getting sapped by a 7-year-old.
Yeah, a child speaking the truth. No, look. As much as I like to rip,
things happen.
Yeah. It did throw things off a little bit today, so if it's a bit more scuffed than this in person was going to be, I mean, to be honest, if you've watched the Talking Wednesday podcast for 219 odd episodes, you know how scuffed we are anyway. But yes, we are in person. This is going to be a season review later on. It's not going to be a massive season review because we don't want to talk about it too much, but it is also a normal episode. Yeah. This is the where we just record what's going off in the week.
Been an interesting one this week, hasn't it?
Yeah.
How's your birthday week been?
Thanks. Tuesday was all right. It was my birthday on Tuesday.
Now you need in the Zimmer frame.
I know, right? I know.
You get the 30 episode break.
I just felt sick seeing the number. Do you know what I mean? I was like, ooh. It was lovely on the day. So I just chilled. It was weird not seeing my family for the first time on my birthday ever.
The first time you've done that.
Because even last year when I was still living, away last year.
Yeah.
And I've lived away for my birthday. Oh no, that's not true, actually.
Didn't you do it at uni?
Yeah, I must have done it at uni.
But first time in a while then?
I think my 21st I might have celebrated at the weekend on my 21st. I can't remember.
Are you just not celebrating Big Mouth though? Because like 21st is a Big Mouth.
No, my 21st, we did a gig at Zanzibar in Liverpool.
Yeah.
So we I can't remember if I did it on the weekend or we did it on the night of my birthday. Yeah. But a load of my mates, we came out. It was basically a good way for us to. We were supporting a band there, so we just started. We started pre-drinks while we were playing, and then we went out into Liverpool. My 30th was a lot quieter than that. Yeah. We did go to Venice last month.
You did?
Me and Sophie are going to the Lake District soon, just for sort of a night to chill out. Yeah. But on the actual birthday week, we've not done much. She got to see, as I said, I went back to see my folks last night because I'd not seen them, and they obviously wanted to see me for my 30th. That was nice. Just getting older,
Yeah, I get the feeling. I know that one.
It happens. I probably should start taking care of myself a lot more. Just probably.
Nah.
As
long as you got your life insurance and you got a good payout.
I ain't got life insurance.
Well, you need to start looking at it then. Yeah. Seriously, I would seriously look at it.
No, so we always have this joke. So says, well, we're not married. You've not got insurance. Like, She was like, you can't die yet because what am I going to get? Like when I get ill or something.
A good like, Pokemon collection and some
that's it. She was like, it's not even official that I get your Pokemon collection. That's a good point.
She's already getting your will ready, isn't she?
She's already sussing it all out, yeah.
She already figured out I want 50% of everything you win.
Yeah. Oh, so true. Having said that, yes, I'm very skint at the minute, which is fun because we've had a very expensive couple of months.
Yeah,
but it's been worth it.
But that whole thing, when you get to this point in the year, you either get skint going into it because you're either trying to get enough money sorted for accountants, or you're starting to do the bit where you've gone, hey, I've got a bit more money that I need to spend because I need to spend it for the accountant.
Yeah, I didn't do a big April tax write-off this year. I did. There was things over that I needed to buy for work in like January and stuff like that, so it didn't really matter as much. But April, we obviously went to Italy last month. We've just, the car cost me quite a few £100 as well.
Oh yeah, you had to have the aircon redone, didn't you?
No, the aircon's the thing that's knackering now.
Is it?
So out there you could hear a rattle.
Yeah, I could hear that rattling.
That's the aircon. So I think it's the aircon compressor. What that needed, it needs a shock. It still needs a shock because they didn't do the shock. It needed all brakes. Oh, geez. You think about it though, mate. I have so much gear in the car for like music and stuff like that.
And also how much traveling you
Not do. gear, you Gen X people, right? Don't need no sniffer dogs. But like, yeah.
I won't let my dog try and get in your car and it's a German Shepherd Cross with a Doberman. It might have extra
it'd be wide-eyed later. But no, yeah, it's been an expensive time. But payday soon.
Yeah.
Coming around the other side of it. Someone will pay me my bloody invoice soon. And
it's also bank holiday weekend.
That's true. Bank holidays don't really mean much to me anymore because I don't work on them. Well, I do. I do my own business on a Monday, but I don't work for someone on a Monday.
Else. So it feels like it's just like a day off to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nowadays. Okay. How's your week been?
Weird, because we're starting to do like the whole like moving the child to a new school and everything because she's getting older and she's the last year at this school. Hunter's now fully into nursery and doing well, even though he's got a really bad habit of crying every time you drop him off.
Oh God!
Yeah, he'll literally walk in, he'll be fine and stuff. As soon as he gets to like one of the outside bits, he screams. He won't picking up. You hand him over, and it's heartbreaking. But you have to pull the bandage off and go. You're gonna go, or it's gonna get worse.
Yeah, the more you're there, it is. And
and he enjoys it.
He'll be fine when you.
He's fine when he's there. He's like his key work is really lovely, and it's just a weird thing where the last couple of days where he's been off, I spent like 2 hours sat on my sofa, no sound, no nothing, going, what do I do? I haven't done this in like such a long time. What do I actually do? I can
tell you've been going through transitions with the kids because you have been exhausted. Like I can tell. Like
our lass looked at me last night, and the kids weren't bad. We just went to eat and said, "What you got planned today? You got any podcasters? You got any videos?" I went, "I've got nothing. You look shattered. Just do something for you."
Yeah.
And I came down here and fell asleep. Could this been a bit of
I saw you today and I was like, you look like Anyway, yeah. I'm glad that you'll be getting some rest soon.
Yeah.
Maybe not if the Wednesday news keeps going on.
To be fair, the Wednesday news is just... It's not a stopping, is it?
No. This isn't our normal in-person, let's look back at the podcast year sort of thing. It's not the celebrate. That'll be 250.
Getting closer.
Yeah, it is getting closer. But
whereabouts will that be, actually?
It should be. It always lands late Jan, early Feb.
Yeah. Just after Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah. But I want to get into the first piece of Wednesday news because it's a piece of Wednesday news that's not going to really be Wednesday news anymore. But we talked about takeovers. There's a lot of talk still about the Walton family one.
Yeah.
Put that on the back burner. The one that was looking likely that Simon Jordan influenced off TalkSport was the Turkey Al Sheikh signing.
I got a message from you about this last night.
Was that when I went effing Millwall? Millwall?
I thought I was going to get a Luton-style rant.
It was just, look, I know Millwall, like diehard fans, diehard fan base, but I'm just tired of the London bias. I know we wanted a London club, but big Saudi investor, very, very rich man, billions of pounds,
Millwall.
Buying a championship side. He's going to buy Millwall. And when he was advised by people like Simon Jordan to buy Wednesday, could have been a way out for us there.
Yeah. There is still links to Saudi.
Yeah.
According to some reports. But I think the thing that you got at the minute, it's very, very simple. Sheffield Wednesday, it's not a case we need a buyer, we want to buy her. Because
I get what you mean, but I feel like with the vitriol in the fan base, it's going to more towards need.
It's going more towards need, but the problem is, as I've always said, if I want to buy your car and I offer you X amount and you said I want this amount, you ain't going to sell it for anything less if you've got a price set in stone.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem we got with DC. He got a price that he wants for the club. And the thing is, we don't know how much that price is. Is it 100 million like the Walton family apparently put down? Is it the 250 like Adam Shaw apparently said it was? Which is it?
It's not 250.
There's no way it's worth 250. I think 100 million plus Dadenham's probably an valuation by a massive amount. But you're probably buying the land more than you're buying the club in that one.
That's the problem with the stadium as part of it. Chansiri needs to listen to it. If someone's offered 100 million, right, and there's that rumor going around that on LinkedIn he replied, I don't think that's him.
I don't
think
that LinkedIn's real.
It's not him. I don't think it is.
When you see the press releases we get and you know the one that you can tell are written by him, that just doesn't. And why would he just reply to people? Yeah,
but also if you actually, I was seeing some things looking into that LinkedIn. It's quite clear that it used to be another account that someone's just rebranded.
There's like the 3 Chansiri accounts and one got his face on it. The rest of that weird owl we had done.
Yeah, I just don't buy into it. Like they're trying to like.
I'll be honest with you. Don't message him full stop. Don't email him.
No,
it doesn't help.
There's people that still tag his son on Twitter, and that's pathetic as well.
At the end of the day, if there's a takeover or anything, unless it's something like a serious matter, like a family member died and you want to get your season ticket cancelled or something like that, then fine. But I don't think messaging him all the time is going to help.
No, but he does need to move on now. So we don't need to contact him, but he needs to move on. He needs to start listening. We are in a situation where this is going to tie us into Danny Rull. There's been more reports recently that, well, his agent's doing overtime. It's looking like he's now trying to land him a club in Germany because Will still is linked with Southampton. It looks like that's going to happen.
That looks like nailed on, actually.
So Danny Rull won't be going to Southampton.
Leicester are looking elsewhere now.
Leicester are also looking
Palace
elsewhere.
will potentially keep their manager after the FA Cup.
Oh, no, yeah, they will. They will. Well, also, I don't think I don't think Palace would be. I think he'd be an option for Palace, but I don't think he'd be any.
Fulham, Marco Silva's always turned down Saudi.
I just think that like his record towards the end of the season has done damage.
Yeah,
and
his record isn't actually
Jake,
great.
I can't believe I'm saying this because I understand what you wouldn't want to work with Chansiri.
Yeah,
but he needs to go.
The problem you've got...
Someone needs to buy him for his compo, but he needs to go. Because all of this flirting with other clubs, Jake, like, what's he going to do? Come back and say it was his choice to stay? When
he kind of already
he's
said
done
that as well.
once, yeah. But he comes back after he's been bloody gallivanting off, showing his ankle to all these clubs, going, "Oh, pick me!" And we're meant to believe that he's stayed with us because he loves the fan. He's disrespected the fan base.
Yeah,
I understand not wanting to work with Chansiri.
See, the thing is, did you see? Are you seen the quote Josh has said about it on the open goal?
That's the next story, mate. But yeah, go on.
But Josh has turned around and said he doesn't think he's going.
No,
because he said, what club buys managers out of contract? They don't anymore, really.
No. But I think the difference is he's trying to go, which is like, oh, so we just get you don't want to be here, and you've made it very obvious. There's so many different ways Danny Rule could have gone about this, right?
Yeah.
But he's trying to power his way out of the club, and it's so annoying because the report that came out said, oh, he's not in any rush, you know. So what happens? We get an agreement with the club at the end of summer, and then we're in a situation where we're looking for a new manager again, and then we miss half a transfer window, and it's just a mess again.
Thing is, I don't have a problem with the release clause. Like some people are like, oh, the release clause is a problem. No, that's actually DC for once.
No, yeah, that's good.
That's actually one of the one thing DC
originally,
done well.
I know I said, like, back when all this stuff with Southampton started, I went, if Danny Rule does a bloody good service for us, like, then maybe you lower the release clause by $1 million or something, and you help him out, and you like have a gentleman's agreement sort of thing. If he conducted himself in a different way, Danny Rule has conducted himself in completely the wrong way.
All he needed to do was go, the line should have been this. I'm currently in a contract with Sheffield Wednesday Football Club. Yes, of course, I want to manage on the big day, but at the moment, my focus is Sheffield Wednesday Football Club and seeing what we do. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he needed to say. But what he said is, oh, I like to work in this, but I like to work at the highest. I'm ambitious. We keep hearing this ambition all the time from him.
Yeah.
But there's ambition, and then there's not using your head and knowing when to shut up. And don't get me, we all like Danny. We all want Danny to stay if there's a chance of doing. But it more and more now, most fans are like, go.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm leaning towards that now. Like, there's things that also, I've spoke to a lot of people, and I've heard different things behind the scenes, and I'm not doing that, oh, I'm in the know crap. I think you've probably read things on Twitter and things like that. And Chansiri
it's SWFC media parody.
It's not the parody, is it? It's the actual guy that does it. I know he's just like a journalist student, so I try not to be too harsh on that front, because I know he's probably just a.
Oh, to be fair, I've seen you when you go mental on Twitter. That actually be nice.
Yeah. But it's a case of like, in terms of this, Chansiri sort of hinted that Danny Rule's attitude was a thing.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing his professionalism isn't great.
Ideal situation. Someone paid the release.
Mm-hmm.
We get the money.
Yeah.
I still think Pedersen staying's a good option.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Pedersen with Waddle.
Yeah. That was...
So there was a video that Pedersen was with Waddle somewhere.
On holiday.
What's all that about?
But it's the first time I've seen Waddle look positive. Like, actually positive. Maybe he's had a couple of Sam Mangels. But the thing is, I don't mind Pedersen because he gives that continuity. People have looked at his record and gone, oh, it's not great. But for the time being where we're in a position where we need someone else.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense.
What podcast was Josh on so I can...
Open Goal,
right. Yeah. Okay. He said about Pedersen does all the on-the-ball stuff, whereas Danny Rule does the off-the-ball stuff. Out of possession stuff. So Pedersen's quite a big part of how we play.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. In like a press, out of possession is very important.
I also think Pedersen's the one that does all recommend the subs. Because you look at when they go to do subs, he's the one that's immediately going for it and saying, hey, we need to get this person on. Look at how many times they were at that monitor.
Yeah.
The thing is,
I don't think the staff are going to be overjoyed at Danny
Rule.
Well,
they're out of contract.
Yeah, the way Danny Rule's sort of pitching himself sort of thing. Like, there is talks about the contracts at the minute. I think the staff are going in for talks, aren't they?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
If some are already done.
Yeah. It's just a mess, man. It's just a
mess. The thing
is,
we should be sat here going, what a great season. We got mid-table. And again, we're doing this.
Yeah, what a disappointment we didn't get off into the playoffs. Danny Rule will be able to do it next season when we actually add some more quality to this squad.
That's what we should be doing.
That's what we should be saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're talking about off-field situations, or we're talking about a manager wants to be here, doesn't want to be here. Because the thing with Pedersen moved his family over.
Yeah. So he's committed.
Yeah.
So I don't think that if Danny Rule goes to Germany, I don't think he'll take the team with him. I don't think he'll go.
I think he'll take Sasha Lenz and that's it.
Yeah. But let's get into a bit more about that podcast that Josh Windass was on, because
it'll come out great.
Look, I don't like arrogant young players, but if you aren't aware, he said that there's a lad called Joey in the academy that I was asked to go and talk to him about him not running over 10K in a game. Yeah. And I went to him and he said, oh, well, Messi doesn't run.
Yeah.
And he used that as he used the word, this lad's pish anyway, against one of our young lads that's just been released, that's going through a very hard time. And I watched Josh Windass the other week captain my football club, which is meant to be a position of, I don't mind people going on podcast. We've got a bloody podcast, right? But the way he was talking about things there, I just think it is beyond unprofessional. And I just couldn't see someone like Barry doing it. Like, you know, and if Barry did do it, do you know what he could say? He could say, I reckon he'd say there's an attitude. So I've heard this from one of the players in our academy and it was unacceptable. But he wouldn't name them.
No.
And I think, look, Josh, even if you had good intention there saying, look, that's not for Wednesday, he needs to run, he needs to do better, etc. You can't name them. Well, you can do whatever you want, but like in terms of like being a role model, don't name the players.
People method me going, why didn't the club get involved with this? Why didn't the club
The club don't want any player on any podcast.
No.
We've heard that behind the scenes very specifically. There's been situations where players have gone on in certain podcasts in the past and they've got into trouble.
I don't like Josh seemed to have got a pass.
Yeah, I think Josh does whatever he wants. Because like I think Josh is like, well, what are you going to do? Sell me. You know? Yeah. I will read this statement from Joey Pooty on Twitter in regards to this. It's disappointing to be called out by Josh Windass during what's already been a really tough period for me. Not being offered a new contract at Sheffield Wednesday has been difficult to process, and the last thing I expected was to be dragged into something like this. For clarity, the conversation has been completely flipped out of context. Windass asked me to name a player who doesn't run over 10 kilometres in a game, and I responded honestly in that moment. It wasn't personal, nor was it meant to be disrespectful. It's frustrating to see things taken out of proportion when emotions are already high. I've always tried to conduct myself with honesty and respect, both on and off the pitch. All I want now is to move forward and focus on the next chapter of my career. Like, he just didn't have to dig him out. You know, he could have even said the whole situation and told the anecdote and not named the player.
Yeah.
Like, and don't get me wrong, like, it is a bit of it's a young lad. I think he was 17 at the time, Joey, when he said it.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And it's like, it's a young lad stupid thing to say, oh, Messi don't run. You know, I don't need to run. Like, yeah. He's a right back as well. He's full back. He's going to need to bloody run more than that. But I just think Windass has not conducted himself in the best way. The hostage stuff, all of the stuff, like, I really do feel like we need to sell him and move on because he's got another year, but it's just getting worse, isn't it? And I like Josh Windass, but he
doesn't help himself.
No.
And that's the problem. The times when I'll be honest with you, following by example by his manager.
Yeah.
But you think about it.
His manager's not helping anything. And I'm just not impressed.
No.
I'm not impressed. God, I think, is there anything else that's gone off this week?
New pitch had been laid.
Yeah. So
training ground are getting...
that's massive, yeah. So I'll go to the website, actually, because we are getting some...
This will have all been planned in advance, by the way.
Yeah, so the stuff we were talking about with the EFL grants is more to do with the facility we've got going off, not what's actually happening. So this means money is coming into the club. A lot of people are saying, well, Chansiri couldn't pay the wages on time. How's he coming in? This looks like long-term investment. People are saying, oh, is someone investing from the outside? As far as we're aware, we haven't heard of anything like this. This is Chansiri's money, but it does put the club in a more sellable position. So, and it's stuff he should be doing, and he's doing it. So this reads from the club website. Middlewood Road renovations underway. The Owls are delighted to confirm a host of major upgrades to our Middlewood Road training facility, taking place in phases over the coming weeks. Wide-scale improvements include new academy buildings, new reception area, changing rooms for players, and match officials, and a state-of-the-art playing surface. Work is underway and will continue in the off-season ahead of our 25-26 campaign. The new reception will replace the current entrance point at Middlewood Road, serving as the first point of call for visitors to S6. Working with our 2024-25 front of shirt sponsors Mockbert Limited, our academy will benefit hugely from bespoke buildings replacing previous academy dwellings. Phase 1, which is currently underway, will include a replacement of 4 changing rooms, official rooms and a meeting room. Following planning approval, Phase 2 of the upgrades will continue with a new functioning room, dining facility, and an area for parents, so our young players will enjoy an enhanced experience during their time at Middlewood Road that supports their development into senior football. Wednesday will also be an early adopter of, quote, Pure PT by Tiger Turf, an industry-leading surface to replace our current AstroTurf pitch. The Owls will become only the second football club in Europe to install such a surface following Netherlands giants PSV Eindhoven. The artificial grass, the best of its kind, will improve comfort and safety for players, enhancing performance while also proving a more environmentally friendly service with an extended durability. Further to academy upgrades, the grass pitches at Middlewood Road and Hillsborough are currently undergoing a huge transformation ahead of the new campaign, representing a large investment in our playing services for over a decade. We caught up with head groundsperson Lee Jackson shortly after work.
I haven't seen that video. Well, it's very interesting.
Yeah, go and watch that. He talks about the ground there as well. The significant investment across both sides will provide the optimum foundation for the 25-26 as Wednesday prepare for the new championship season. Well done, Chansiri.
Yeah. No, the thing is, I think people, when he does well, we said it before, when he does well, we will praise him.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that people going like...
Long overdue, this.
This is like, for Middlewood Road in the actual video, Lee Jackson, our head grandma, said 30-odd years worth of probably investment, that it needs 30 years since it's properly been done or anything done. And it shows how far behind we are, and B, how much it hasn't been done. You got to remember, what were the first things DC did when he first bought the club? He did the pitch, he did the new green. The green's dying now.
Yeah, and the screen's got pixel problems, hasn't it?
Got like 5 or 6 screens that don't work on a match.
Yeah.
And the pitch is now getting redone in a different way. And it's been done in a different way instead of it being stick together. It's some else way of doing it.
What I also liked is this groundsman's really switched on. Like, people are calling it Chansiri propaganda. But like, he's also... He's changing the dimensions. He was talking about the putting turf around the technical area and outside the edges of the pitch, so it's extended. So when players go out to like take a throw in, they can get more of a run back. There's also
line I heard though was about putting a sponsorship there.
That's the thing. So it's to a point where you could put floor advertisements and things like that. So you could actually advertise on on the edge of the ground. So if we decided to invest in, well, not invest, but have investment coming in from advertisers, we could actually have more space to advertise.
Thing is, I also have a funny feeling he's enjoying his job again a little bit. I wonder if it got a bit stale being at Man City, just having like the best stuff
he's
to do.
Doing the good
I
wonder
if he'd gone, right, I can put my stamp on this. I can say what I've done. I can have this. Because let's remember, if anything, would you say Lee Jackson was the signing of January?
Yeah, probably. Talking to Wednesday Awards signing of the season. Probably is the sign of the season.
Because he got that pitch looking fantastic right near the end.
I think he's been a great addition to the club, and
they're listening to him.
Yeah.
Which is something I don't think we've ever done.
Football League Word this morning, we're reporting that Danny Rulls still linked with Leicester, by the way.
We'll see what happens.
But
would you want to go there with minus 15 points?
Oh yeah, that's coming. They could get done for that, couldn't they? Because they got away with it last time.
Yeah, they did.
But now they're back.
They might get minus 15.
But well, it's the person to do it. Great escape, all of that. But I think when we're looking at the overall season, the coming up, the investment in the pitch, it's much needed. Middlewood Road has been a disaster, so I'm very happy to see this. What I liked as well, he was saying that currently the players will, in a training session, will train across 2 pitches.
Yes.
They'll go for on one pitch that's been done that year or a couple of years ago, and it'll be great. and then they'll go to the other pitch that was done on the alternate year, and that's worse. So they have to adapt to those two different pitches, and you'll get more injuries. They're relaying both training pitches at the same time, so they're both going to be of the same quality. So there's a consistency for the players.
Yeah.
And it's little technical details like that that's going to help with injuries and stuff.
See, I'm intrigued what he does about what happens in winter. Because our biggest problem with winter, because we don't have a pitch of which we can play on.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's something he's gone and said, we're going to do this. And I'm going to be interested in how he tackled the South Stand issue with the Hillsborough pitch itself. Because the no light issue. Is there something where he can get the floodlight to be like heat lamps, like switch them to something else where they're heat lamps instead? So it does that way. I think what got me that these are the things we've been talking about for ages. Like, people have been going past Hillsborough and they've been painting the turnstiles. They've been going in and doing some maintenance in the stadium and in the, like putting new metal bits in where it's already gone.
Yeah.
It's like we've gone. We need to start making this. You know what it feels like? You're renovating a house to put it up for sale.
That's what I'd hope for. I want to talk a bit about a player.
Go on.
You might not know this yet. Ipswich Town have just tweeted.
Go on.
Massimo Luongo will move on from the club this summer.
Yes, he's been let go.
Come back. I mean, he had injuries, but for Ipswich, he was absolutely ridiculous, wasn't he?
There's a lot of good free agents out from the Prem.
Yeah, free agents this summer is a good
There's
market.
A lot of good ones.
A good market. But let's do a bit of a season review, shall we, Jake? Let's get into that part. Like, we're just going to look. We'll start at the optimism of the start of the season. At the start of the season, these came out.
I liked that one. Oh, if you're going to rate on.
I don't like the kits. I don't like the kits this year. That's all right, I guess. That is one of the best kits we've ever made. Because you can wear it as like a shirt.
Won't lie, I for years on this podcast and before said blackout kit. Did one, sold out really stupidly quickly, made a lot of money.
They could have done better with it even. Like, I don't like the stripes on it. Like, they could have done like...
Yeah, but you look, they're doing for the same design all the way through.
I don't like... I'll be honest, I've not really liked... Obviously, that Macron kit I liked. But like a lot of the kits... Don't like that.
I just don't like that.
I do not like this home kit. The stripes are too thin.
Yeah.
So hopefully next season he gets that.
That's
what he does though. He'll go, oh, we've gone back to stripes. Oh, the old badge is coming back. On board.
Yeah. This year we'll have an old badge on the first shirt.
Yes. Yeah, we will.
Which I will get one and I will show it off, but I think it can be a lot harder than the black one was to get.
In terms of more news as well, just before we do the season review, after that, we're in the season review. I've just realised we didn't mention the Pierce Charles call up for Northern Ireland. So
and Autobio. Autobio have been called up as well
for
Ireland,
Northern Ireland.
I think is it Northern Ireland or Ireland? Let me have a look. I'm sure Autobio have been called up to, it may even be under 21s, but so Killian Barrett and Gabriel Autobio have been called up for the Ireland under 21 squad.
Fair enough. Right, in terms of the fixtures, my stomach's just made a really weird noise. I'm going to go and devour something later, I think, because I'm very hungry. Right. What year are we in? It's been
24, 25.
Yeah, we've been in a long year. We started the season not against Leeds.
Nope.
Against Plymouth. 4-0. Things are looking bright. The sun was shining. What did you think as we started the season?
If I remember correctly, I did a much at 4-0. I think you and Jack got giddy, but we all said at the same time, it's only Plymouth.
Yeah, we all knew what it was. Plymouth were bad. Like, bad.
And they weren't bad signings we brought in either. There were a lot of good signings we brought in. It was looking like we were building a base.
Yeah.
But you saw a little bit of a style of football, what you thought we might play this season.
Yeah.
It went quite quickly. We never didn't see that again.
Well, it did because we beat Hull in the Cup. We actually even were excited because McNeil
scored twice.
Yeah, and you were like, oh, McNeil.
Yeah.
McNeil, my draft. And then we never really saw him again. No. Sunderland then whacked us 4-0 the next game, and we were like, oh, that's
that Joff Windass pass.
Yeah. That assist.
Yep.
That was sort of like, oh, we're believing our own hype here. Then we get done at Leeds. I thought we were all right against Leeds. The scoreline didn't reflect it. We beat Grimsby 5-1 in the FA Cup, but then we get done 3-0 by Millwall, draw against QPR, beat Blackpool with the cup, lose to Luton.
That Luton and QPR game would drop points.
Yeah.
But we played
this
so well.
This is the time when we were still like, oh, look, we're nearly there, but we're just not quite there. We're going, Ugbo, what's going on with Ugbo? He's not really... he's not fit yet. We'll have to wait for him to get fit.
He got goals in the cup.
He's got no pre-season.
He got goals in the cup. I was like, right, that got him going. Right, we're now going to get someone who we know that can do something. Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of people, and including us on the podcast, we knew what we were already getting. So it's like, we know what we're getting. Let's see what happens.
Because then we beat West Brom 3-2.
That was a good game as well.
It was a good result. Really good result. Good game. And then again, Bristol City, missed chance, 0-0. This was coming towards it's the start of October now, and we beat Coventry 2-1, and that is where your
moment of the season.
The moment of the season. Yeah. Shea Charles sort of like coming through there, and I think, we're on a rut. We're gonna do something now. We've started to put some good results together here. Yeah. Then we get done by Burnley, understandable. But the Swansea game, another 0-0. These creep through our season.
It was these little games where we had enough, but not enough firepower. We've make a load of chances, and we look at it, go, right, we've made 16 chances, but only got 2 on target, and we were like going, what is going on? What do we need to unlock this?
And then we beat Portsmouth 2-1.
That Michael Smith goal.
Yep. We'd lose very narrowly on penalties to Brentford in the cup. I thought we played really well against Brentford in that game. We lose 6-2 to Watford, and again, you're thinking, we can take a whack in here.
Yeah.
Like, that player that never scored for them got a hat-trick in that or something. I remember that. We then beat Norwich 2-0, and then
we've always been good at coming back from the next game. If we have done a bad game first, we've always done well the next.
I remember us all being quite nervous beating Norwich 2-0 because we were like, we've got to win now to go into the derby.
Yeah,
and then we lose the derby. And I think we weren't bad in that first derby.
That first derby, I don't think we were bad. It was tight.
Yeah.
We played well, but you could tell we needed an international break. We needed a little bit of a break going into it. And then during this time period, I messaged you halfway through November going, we've got an issue. And I did it twice in the season. I said, there's an issue coming. And you just went, is it question mark money?
Oh God, we're talking about that, are we? Yeah. When we first started talking behind the scenes that wages might not get paid.
Well, wages and HMRC.
Yeah. And we were like, this is the sort of where we started to get a whiff of like, when is it going to drop publicly? And it didn't. It just kept not getting talked about.
But this is also when we were all watching Southampton and go, oh, they're not doing very well.
Yeah.
Oh.
So then we go on from the derby. We draw against Cardiff, not more drop points. We beat Hull 2-0.
Got the manager sacked. We were the club that got a lot of manager sacks.
We were. Derby County, we get 2-1.
Yeah.
And then we go into Preston, another 1-1. Lose to Blackburn 1-1 in December. Beat Oxford 3-1. Beat Stoke 2-0. And you're thinking, right, we're getting a run before Christmas. And then there was that weird 3-3 on Boxing Day.
Yeah. But you got to remember, in December, this is where all the things from Danny was starting to come out and getting said. Yeah. And we were having to go, what's going on? Because he was being really cryptic. Because I think it was in October, we said, I've met with the transfer lot. We know what our targets are. And then in December, it's like, I haven't spoken to him. We haven't spoken. So we were getting more nervous. Like, how many times would we get a press conference and we'd be like, just ask about the football? It was all off-field stuff.
Yeah. And it was just...
The narrative was going different.
That December, January was like, what's going on? Because he'd started to play games, Danny, and Chansiri wasn't doing himself any favours.
No.
Preston beat us 3-1 on the 29th, and then we won 4-2 against Derby on New Year's Day.
Yep.
Into a Sheffield Wednesday 2, Millwall 2 on the 4th, and then we get knocked out of the FA Cup in the third round against Coventry. Means we didn't have to play them again, at least.
Yeah.
Leeds beat us 3-0 on the 19th of January. Again,
but
a scoreline that didn't reflect the game,
Yeah.
again, Bristol City, like they've obviously got into the playoffs, but we thought we could have got something more than 2-all out of that.
But you got to remember, when you look at the table, where we were teetering from mid-table to playoffs.
Yeah.
We were a couple of games where we go on a run, we're in there.
Yeah.
And
that was the story of our season.
But we kept on saying that all season. Yeah. Like if you actually look at the season, it wasn't until the end of the season teams started getting consistent.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of teams got consistent near the end, either consistently bad or consistently good. All the way through, nobody was really consistent enough. Like, we'd had games where it'd be odd game, win here, draw here, win here, lose there. We didn't really go on a back-to-back losing thing until about March.
No, well, we followed on to the Bristol City game, to beat QPR away 2-0.
Yeah.
Stupid draw with Luton Town when we were, again, the better side in that game. Shouldn't have been 1-all. 2-1 loss to West Brom. They got the better of us that time. We beat Swansea, which, to be honest, Swansea's been...
Wasn't a great game either.
No, Coventry beat us because Coventry are like our bogey team, I swear to God. Burnley did 4 past us, showing that their dominance. Sunderland, we had a really tough run here because Coventry, Burnley, then Sunderland all
wasn't
up there
great
this season. Then Sunderland beat us 2-1. But we were in these games with the top sides. The Championship has been so poor this season. It's more of a, why didn't we let that run count? Because we could have been somewhere completely different. We beat Plymouth 3-0, so 7-0 on aggregate.
Something here. The whole game at the start, like early on, first penalty we got in so many games.
Yeah, so we've broken the curse of Wednesday not getting a penalty in whatever, like 2 seasons or whatever it was. We finally got a penalty and scored it. So after the 7-0 aggregate against Plymouth, we beat Norwich again. So we did the double on Norwich, 3-2 away. Then we had the derby again. We lost 1-0 at Hillsborough again. Very tight.
Game.
You know, it was the bringing back of the sausage roll chant and the classlessness from Wilder that we've come to expect. Cardiff won, Wednesday won. Again, stop dropping points. We lose to Hull, which is a stupid point to drop at the start of April. And this is where we just dropped off a cliff in April.
But March, we've got to remember March, we've only just seen players get paid.
Yeah.
On time.
So they weren't getting paid during this, but it was like Hull beat us. We drew against Blackburn. We lost against Oxford. We lost against Stoke. End of April, we come back.
Was that our first back-to-back loss all season? I think it might have been.
Maybe, possibly. Let me just double check that. But then we beat Middlesbrough, and then we go out of the season on 2-1 all draws, and our season really just kind of went out. Not with a whimper, but like a meh.
Yeah.
That's how our season kind of went.
But again, we're not used to that, though. The last 2 seasons, we've had something to fight for.
No, our first back-to-back, well, we lost back-to-back Coventry and then Burnley in February.
There we go.
But sorry, carry on.
But if you think about it, this was the first season as a fan in 2 seasons. We haven't had anything to play for. Season, playoffs, and then trying to stay up. It was weird not being in that position where we knew we had to speak about, we need this many points to stay up. We were looking at tables going, start of the season, there was a couple of people in the fan base who were very much like going, we want playoffs. We set our stall out quite early on and said, just give us a boring mid-table.
Yeah.
We got the boring mid-table, but we got off-field antics, which didn't make it boring.
Yeah. And I think it's a case of we could have had such a different attitude towards this season if you look at where we were, because
the January window were pointless.
The 3 teams that got relegated, Cardiff City on 44, Plymouth on 46, and Luton Town on 49. Hull City stayed up on goal difference, for Christ's sake, on 49 points. So we ended up on 58 points. We were only 9 points from into safety, but that put us in 12th, right?
Yeah.
Because then if you look the other way, we were only 10 points from the playoffs. And that's how the span was so small across the Championship this season. Both of the top 2 teams, Leeds and Burnley, both had 100 points, both finishing the league on 5 wins as well, and 65 goal difference for Leeds and 53 for Burnley. If you just look at but
also look at Burnley's defensive record.
Yeah. Was it 16? Yeah, they conceded 16 goals the whole season.
Ridiculous.
And scored 69. No.
The thing is, what gets me when you start looking down now playoffs, you've got Sheffield United on 90 odd points, and then it's the gap between Sunderland and Sheffield United where you go, Jesus.
Yeah, so there's 10 points between Sheffield United and Burnley on 90 points, and then it's 76, so it's a 14-point gap between Sunderland and Sheffield United. And at the time of recording this, they've not played, so I bloody hope Sunderland win that.
Yeah, same.
And then, yeah, the playoffs, Bristol City creeping in there, and actually they stank up the playoffs this year, unfortunately. They weren't great. But it does leave us with another championship season. I really hope we're not in a relegation battle, Jake, but it could easily be that. We could easily be faced with that come the new window.
It all depends what's happening. And you got to remember, this new window's weird.
Yeah, they're pausing it, aren't they?
Yeah, because of the FIFA Club World Cup.
Yeah.
So it opens on the 1st of June, it shuts on the 10th, and then it's back open on the 16th.
Yeah, so we'll see the initial signings come in there. That's just to appease the Club World Cup players.
And transfer deadline day finishes at 7 p.m.
Oh, at least we won't have to do a late stream.
No. We won't. Like 3rd September, 7 p.m.
Yeah, so we'll stream till about probably 7:30. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
That'll be
nice. I think the issue you've got going into this season is we shouldn't be having a season where we're sat here with doubt.
Yeah.
We got doubt. We don't know who can be ownership, manager,
which
what players
are going to be here, if we're
like
going to
you look at the players we've retained. Like, I'm gutted we've not retained Paul. He seemed quite gutted as well. He seemed like he wanted it.
Statistically, we should have. He was one of our better players statistically. It's interesting. We did the draft earlier. If we look at players rating-wise, if we're looking on paper, I've got hiccups. It's been a while. But if we're looking like overall for Wednesday, Shea Charles is our highest performing player overall. That's not a shock.
God, he's going to be so hard to replace, isn't he?
Yeah, that's a big thing as well. Like, probably, our player of the season is, he got a consistent rating over 42 appearances, a 7.01 rating. So he was a solid 7 all the way across the season, and obviously he had higher ratings.
And I also think, like, you look at the players we've replaced or we've let go, I think it's the most sensible we've ever been.
Our next player, the highest rated player, 6.88 over the season, only 20 appearances, was Michael Owekwe, and he's gone.
Yeah.
Barry Bannon the 3rd, Famio the 4th, Valerie the 5th, Michael Smith the 6th, Max Lowe the 7th, Gassama the 8th, Windass the 9th, Dishon Bernard the 10th, Patterson the 11th, Marvin Johnson the 12th, who's gone.
Do you think this is the first real season we're going to see a bit of a refresh, or do you think it can be a case where it's a mini refresh because
it's going to have to be a mini refresh because of the 2-year deals? Like, I reckon we'd have seen like Palmer, Jamal Lowe all go if they weren't on 2-year contracts. Stuart Armstrong's obviously come in and gone. Paul was 17th overall in the stats, by the way, so you could see probably why in terms of his rating. But then, it's just defensively he wasn't there, all the time. He was quite good, and he was a trier, and Wednesday love a trier, don't we? Yeah. But I'm not confident going to the new season, Jake. But
I'm at the bit of, I keep saying this on everything on my videos. Let's just see what will happen. Because right now, there's nothing.
There's nothing else you can say, really.
There's nothing else we can judge it on. Because the people already writing next season off before we've even made a signing or before anything, because they're going on what's happened this season. The start of the season, everyone looked at it. They wanted playoffs. We got mid-table. Could have been different if there were teams not worth below us. You look where Norwich finished. That's not where they want to be. You look where Preston finished. That's not where they want to be. This was the first season where we might have a consistent run.
Does Jamie Vardy come back for one last dance? He never got into our first team. Does he finish his career at the club that rejected him as a small boy?
I say no. I still think he's going to go to a Prem club. Like
he possibly is. He's linked with the Prem club. I think he
said he doesn't want to go down Championship.
I'd love to see him here.
I love it. Like, it goes against everything I stand for in terms of let's not keep signing no players.
I just think of like him being our goal scorer.
Yeah. Can you imagine the Houser with him and Pato?
It'd be amazing. It'd be amazing to see.
I
wanted to end it on a maybe this could happen note, Jake, because obviously that season review being the end of the podcast is quite negative. But maybe Jamie Vardy will one day become a Wednesday player. Maybe one day we'll be a competent football club again.
Maybe we'll have a takeover.
Maybe. But guys, thank you very much for joining us for this week's episode of the Talking Wednesday podcast. Thank you for all your support over the season. It's been good to talk about the season, and hopefully we'll still have something positive to talk about as we go into the next season. But
next season, we'll invest in AI Jack.
AI Jack. AI would turn up. But for now, guys, take care. We'll see you in the next episode of Talking Wednesday.
See ya.